Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have been getting a lot of comments and questions on my Formula One vlog video, and I figured might as well just make a video where I answer any and all questions about Formula One Miami Grand Prix. And I figured I would do that as I prep for my Formula One watch party that I'm having with friends, because we are getting together to watch the first race of the season. But don't worry, if you're here just to know everything about the Miami Grand Prix, I will answer all of that, I promise. It's not focused on cooking or the party or anything like that. I just figured, since I'm already working on this and my head is in Formula One right now, might as well just talk about it. So for some context, we are doing a pun-themed Formula One party. So all of the food that we're gonna be serving is actually related to the driver's name. So I am personally going to be making donuts, protein donuts, which is for Lando. Landonuts Norris is what this is gonna be called. So we've got a little bit of everything. I'll also share all that in case you feel like throwing your own Formula One watch party. If you're not going to the Miami Grand Prix, maybe it's a great opportunity to do your own and then watch the race on TV, especially because that one will be in the afternoon. So there's even more options like Nico Hulkenberger or George Russell potatoes, Zach Brownie, there's literally everything. So I'm gonna put the recipe that I'm using right here just in case you want to refer to it at any point, you want to try some protein donuts, whatever it may be, figured I would share it right here. Let's start in order of from the very beginning. So how did I get the tickets for the Miami Grand Prix? Obviously the 2023 Miami Grand Prix is just a couple months away, so it's not going to be the same process at this point. But for reference, we got the tickets during the pre-sale window, and please no one hate me when I admit this, but I figured I'm just gonna be very honest and tell you exactly what the process was like. Because it was the first race ever in Miami, the demand was pretty high, and so the tickets sold out pretty quickly. Actually, during pre-sale they sold out. I believe the only way that you were able to get tickets if you didn't get them through the pre-sale was through people reselling their tickets or when they released the campus passes or whatever. So anyway, I got them during the pre-sale, and what happened was the day that we got an email basically saying this is your window, this is going to be, you're going to get a code to your email so that you can access it via Ticketmaster and all that stuff. I saw that the tickets were selling out very quickly, so I started worrying a little bit, and I decided to be resourceful, and this is where please do not hate me. I went on Reddit and people were straight up sharing the code that they had in order to access the pre-sale, because it wasn't actually a unique code per user or anything like that. It was, I think the one that I used was lights out. That was the code. So I mean, again, nothing that's special or unique or not, non-replicable or whatever. So I was able to get the early access because of that code, because by the time that it was going to be our time, almost all tickets were sold out. I actually looked at that this year again, and I don't think that people were doing that anymore. They either got smart and they didn't release, generic codes like that, or people just decided not to share it, but I couldn't find anything like that. What do you do now if you want to get tickets? Well, actually, the Miami Grand Prix was good. I mean, I can't say that it was bad because it wasn't bad, but it was not the greatest race of the season whatsoever. It was, it was just okay. It was extremely hot. Actually, if you watch that vlog of the Formula One Miami Grand Prix that we recorded, the difference between day one when I was like all put together, happy, whatever, and then the last day when I was literally just so sunburned, tired, disheveled, you could tell why people are kind of like, whatever. So tickets have definitely not sold out. We actually found a couple online through Ticketmaster recently. We were looking because maybe we'll go. We decided initially we were not gonna go. It was a nice race, but it wasn't like we were like totally impressed by it or anything like that. So we were like, well, just watch it at home, maybe, have some friends over, whatever. But now we're like, man, it's literally right, like it's so close to us. We don't have to pay for hotels, no flights, no nothing. We just have to get there. So we might go TBD. Quick intermission from editing Monica. Very fitting that we've still got the Leclerc flag up there. But I wanted to update you guys because I literally just bought the tickets for this year's race. So I know I was mentioning like maybe we'll go, maybe we won't, I don't know. Well, we are definitely gonna go. We actually ended up buying the tickets via phone. I had a rep call me. He was like, hey, listen, we have you on the list of somebody that's interested in getting tickets. We have some tickets that are actually not available online. He was telling me initially about, like the suites, the clubs, whatever. Honestly, in my opinion, they were very expensive. The cheapest one was $5,000 per ticket, which I actually have received pricing for Monza, which is the Champions Club, which is like the passes with a bunch of good benefits and things, and even like track walks and everything like that. That was actually gonna be like less than $5,000. I think it was like $4,100 if I'm not wrong. So I'm like, Monza's even cheaper for that. I understand obviously there's like the cost of hotel plus, flights and everything that I don't concur with Miami. I get that, but at the same time, I'm like, respectfully, I don't think Miami's worth that. So I was like, I'm not gonna do like one of those like fancy passes. So I just want to do like a regular grandstand, but it has to be shaded. And he ended up finding us tickets in a good area where there's gonna be some track action, hopefully, and they're shaded and everything, which is exactly what I was looking for, fairly priced. So if you are looking for tickets still, I would actually say that's the best way to go. There are some things online, but he was able to find me tickets that were not online, that were actually better and exactly what I was looking for. So you can definitely get in touch with them on the website. It's the F1 Miami GP website, and you can just schedule a call with, you know, like one of the ticket people for them to call you and help you out. And so I highly recommend doing that if you are still looking for tickets and want like the best possible ticket. We paid $690 per ticket, and we were in the family grandstand, which was actually a DRS zone. So we had a really nice view of overtaking, some good action going on, but we also didn't have shaded seats, which for me personally, I don't think I could do the Miami Grand Prix ever again if there is no shade. Miami is insanely hot. Obviously, I know that I live here, but it was so hot, and with, you know, the crowd, the hot cars and everything is just 10 times worse. So I would not do the Miami Grand Prix if I can't be in a shaded seat. So anyway, if you're still looking for tickets, you can go on Ticketmaster. They do also have the campus passes, which are $500 for the 3 days. You don't actually get to sit anywhere. They're just, you know, you have access to certain areas on campus. So you can walk around, look at things, blah, 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 whatever it may be, and you just pay less. You're just, again, not sitting on a, you know, at the grandstand or anything like that. You're just gonna be watching probably from behind a fence or something. Now, that's the ticket situation. Then the next thing was the party. That was on a Wednesday. The race was obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday FP1, FP2, Saturday FP3 quali, and then Sunday the race, obviously. We went to the concert. It was a Kygo concert, and it was 100% worth every penny. We got the tickets. They were, I can't remember the name of the tickets exactly. They were like VIP tickets. And so we were sitting in section, I think it's called like section 72. They have that same thing during the race, and it's literally right next to the podium. And so the concert was happening on the podium. This was again on a Wednesday before all of the track action. It's $200 a ticket. That was what it was last year at least, but it is worth every penny because that is literally how we were able to see all the drivers. So anyway, when they were actually driving by in their little golf carts to go onto the stage to, you know, say hi to the people and whatever, that's when we were able to see them. They just like literally walked and drove past us, and so we were able to see them very close. You know, the introduction happened, they do a little chat, whatever, and then when they were going back, we were also right there. So we got to see them go back inside, and we were just there literally saying hi. I was screaming all their names. Chris got a fist bump, I think, from Kevin Magnussen. If I'm not wrong, I'll need to ask him for that video so that I can insert that clip here. Pretty wild, just being right there with them. Obviously, unfortunately, we didn't get to take a photo. If they had stopped for a photo with somebody, they would have had to do that with everybody else, and that would have been a whole disaster. But at least we were able to, you know, just talk to them and say hi and, you know, whatever. So that was 1000% worth it because that was the only time that we saw the drivers up close. We did not run into them at all during the race weekend. Okay, now moving on to the race weekend. The Friday, like I said, is FP1 and FP2. In order to get there, we took an Uber to a designated station. It's a train station. No, it's a shuttle bus station. It's some sort of transportation station here in Miami, but they're using it for the shuttles for the race. And so we got, you know, we took an Uber over there, and then from there, they had buses that took us to the track. That was honestly super organized. Everything was super clear. You literally got dropped off. The buses picked you up, took you there, you got on track, go in, you know, moving on, whatever. The picking up part at the end of the day was actually the harder one because getting an Uber later in that evening was difficult for sure in that area. So that part was the only one that was difficult, and we definitely, if we go again this year, we would try to find parking either there because you can buy some parking there or nearby as well. It would just be easier for us. Or if you have some sort of driver or Uber that you can work with to make sure that they pick you up and drop you off and everything during that weekend, that would also be ideal. We read like all these things that we were allowed to take, not allowed to take, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I'm not saying don't listen to it, but like we didn't have any issues. They said that you couldn't take an umbrella, and let's be real, it's Miami. It rains a lot in Miami, starting in like April, May-ish, which is May is when the race is. It typically rains in the afternoon in Miami, and so I was like, there's just no way. The forecast also said that it was gonna rain. I was like, there's just no way that it isn't gonna rain. They're not gonna let us take an umbrella, whatever. So I was like, just gonna see. I'm gonna take like a cheap umbrella and see, because if they take it away, then whatever, I'm not gonna be worried about it. Well, we went in with our umbrellas, no issues whatsoever. They literally did not stop us. They didn't say anything. They do ask that you bring a clear bag, So, you know, just like they do in concerts, games, any other stuff, you have to just walk in with a clear bag or a very small bag in that case, like literally like wallet size if you don't take a clear bag. We took a clear bag with ponchos, again, like the umbrella, some water. You're also not supposed to take water because, I mean, obviously I'm guessing they just want you to buy it there. We had no issue taking our water bottles. So again, they just, I don't know if like security wasn't informed of that. I don't know if they just didn't care. Whatever it may be, I hope they keep that up because honestly, I can't imagine doing that race without having water bottles with you, and getting like standing in line to get the water bottles, like to buy water bottles, was ridiculous. So anyway, even though I will list a bunch of things that you may or may not take, just take that with a grain of salt. And again, I'm just saying this for like normal things, like a water bottle and an umbrella. Obviously they don't allow any sort of dangerous objects, items, whatever. Please don't do that. That they will for sure take away. Once you walk in, you pretty much are free to, you know, explore campus wherever. They do have an app, like a Miami Grand Prix app. I do recommend downloading it because you will actually get notifications from that app. And unfortunately, they're not like early notifications. They're literally like, you have 20 minutes to get to this place pretty much. And so with the app, we actually found out, unfortunately too late, that they were doing driver autographs. So you know, we could have met the drivers, gotten autographs, said hi to them just up close. But unfortunately, we were home when we got the notification. I think it was like at 8 o'clock or something in the morning. And I got a notification in the app, like be at the, I can't remember the name of the location, but basically like near the stadium, like on the right, I think on the outside of the stadium. And it was like, be there in 30 minutes for driver autographs. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna make it to the track in 30 minutes. Like just the drive to the train station, or to like that shuttle station, is gonna be like 20 minutes. And then after that, it's gonna be like another 20. So I was like, there's just no way we're gonna be there because there was already like a massive line of people obviously waiting for it. So the reason why we weren't there is because the weather was really affecting us. And I was just like, I wanna be home basically for as long as I can because it's just so insanely hot at the track. I wasn't feeling too well. So, I mean, if you're in a place where you're gonna be, you know, not as hot or anything like that, I would suggest getting to the track as early as you can, like as early as they are open, because they do have a bunch of activities and things. And again, they don't give you like an advance notice. It's not like you know the day before what's gonna be happening. You find out within 20 to 30 minutes what's happening. So again, once you're in, you have access to the entire campus. It is a pretty big track, obviously. So depending on the activations and everything, you're gonna have to walk quite a bit. So wear very comfortable clothes, not only because one, it's gonna be crazy hot, two, you're gonna be walking a lot if you want to go to certain places. We end up walking quite a bit towards an area where they had the Ferrari stand or whatever. You know, there's like an area exclusive for Ferrari members of the Scuderia Ferrari Club. They had Ferraris out there and things like that. And they had, the nicest thing ever was Ball Harbor Shops here in Miami. They had a little station there at the track. It was the only place in there, besides obviously the paddock and all that stuff, that had air conditioning. So we literally just went in there and we were like, I'm just staying here until I have to move, because it was so insanely hot. That was so good. So if they have it again, you can trust that Ball Harbor is going to have air conditioning. They do have other activations, like you can actually practice pit stops, so you can change the tires of a car. You can do, I can't remember the other stuff, but basically Formula One activities. You can drive a little simulator, but obviously there's massive lines. So there's a bunch of stuff going on and you have to wait in line for a while for people to be able to, you know, to have your turn. So that's why I say, like, if you want to do stuff, just get there early. It's also not gonna be as crazy hot earlier. I really don't know why the Miami race is not a night race, or at least later in the evening, like a 6-7 p.m. race, because honestly, a 3 o'clock race, it's so insanely hot. Like, might as well just do a noon race, which by the way, they do have practice, or at least they had it last year. I have to check the schedule this year. Right around noon, I'm freaking dying. Actually, speaking of which, let me check the schedule. So yes, the race this year is going to be at 3:30, but if you're taking anything from this video, is please wear comfortable, light clothes, because you will be sweating. Now for food and drinks and things like that, I mean, it's what you can expect to pay, you know, a little bit more overpriced. Water bottles, beers, whatever you want to buy is obviously going to be pricier than if you just buy it at the grocery store, but that's literally what you can expect when you go to any sort of sporting event and you're gonna buy drinks and stuff. Same thing with the food. I mean, I think the chicken nuggets were like $15 or something like that. They weren't that great, but we were desperate because the food was taking forever, and so we ended up getting that. And I mean, I'm not saying they were worth the $15, because they definitely were not. The water, I think, was like $7 or something for the bottle. I can't remember exactly now, but I mean, again, you are going to be paying higher prices. There are some seating options. I don't know if they're still available. They're part of the hospitality packages that do have drink and food included. So they have like the veranda club and other stuff like that. Those usually have fans inside, and they have, you know, they're all shaded, things like that, and they have food and beverage included. Now obviously there was the fake marina, you know, the fake water. That was a whole thing here in Miami. Are they going to have real water this time? I highly doubt it still. So I don't know, they probably will still be fake, which is just absolutely ridiculous that people would pay that much money to be in a yacht without water. It kind of would make me feel even hotter that I'm somewhere where there should be water and there's no water. But I don't know what they're gonna do this year. I don't know if they're planning it better and they're actually going to have enough time to fill it up with water. And for this year, they did change things. So the paddock is actually in a little bit of a different spot. It's going to be inside the stadium, which, to be honest, I don't even know how people ran into the drivers. You know how like when they walk into the paddock and a lot of people sometimes will like take photos with them and stuff. I feel like with Miami, at least, only if you had a paddock pass were you able to run into the drivers. Other than that, there was really no easy access to where they, you know, park and then go in. Okay, the protein donuts are ready to go in the oven so I can keep sharing my whole Formula One story. I got these just label things, whatever, so that I can write down the names of the drivers with the food so that it all makes sense. I got it off of Amazon, and it also comes with these markers so that I can just write everything at once, which is pretty helpful. Anyway, as far as race day is concerned, all you need to know is obviously they start the race on time. Even though it's Miami, they start on time. There we go, land donuts Norris. Anyway, they do start on time, and I actually didn't know this because obviously they don't really show it on like on TV, but when they are getting ready to go through their formation lap or whatever, they actually do a lap before just to like check that everything is okay with the car, and then they go into their formation lap. And they do have the drivers parade and everything, so definitely get there earlier, like be there at least an hour before the start of the race time, because you want to watch, you know, the drivers parade and all that kind of stuff. They drive around in different cars. They did last year, it was more like classic cars. I don't know what they're going to do this year, but probably the same thing. And they just drive around in that. You can, you know, wave at them or whatever, and then again that lap goes through, then formation lap, and then the race starts. Now with the race itself, you know, I mean, just enjoy the race. Actually, at the end or before 45 minutes before the race ended, we got a notification on that app. Again, download that Miami Grand Prix app, and it said line up 20 minutes before, because once the race ends, we're gonna open some sides of the track so that you can run and go to the podium. So they actually sent, like in the map you can see everything, and it shows you exactly where they're going to be opening some of the track fences so that you can go through. And so 20 minutes before we started lining up there, they're not supposed to tell you, but we were, you know, pretty nice to the people that were there, and we were like, which one are you gonna open? Because it's literally like this massive fence, and it's, you know, multiple of them, and you're like, which one should I go in? Like, which one should I stand in front of so that I can actually run and, you know, get there like as quickly as possible? And so the guy was like, I'm not supposed to tell you, but you might want to be right there. And he just walked away, and I was like, you're awesome, dude. Literally as soon as the car, you know, the last car went in, because obviously for safety reasons, even after the winner, you know, goes through and all that kind of stuff, obviously they're not going to open the track when there are still cars on the track. So once the last car is in park for May, that's when you can actually go and run inside the track or on the track. Obviously this means you are going to miss the end of the race, which depending on where your seats are, it doesn't really make a difference. Obviously where we were sitting, I mean, we had a big screen in front of us, but it's not like we were actually going to watch them cross the finish line because we were nowhere near it. So what we ended up doing is we were just playing the race on our phone, and then we were just watching it while we were waiting for those gates to open. We were literally just like standing there watching it on our phone. People behind us were all like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Let us see. So we started having like this group of people just surrounding us, watching the end of the race with us. Obviously Max won, which I'm a Ferrari fan, just FYI. Definitely wanted Leclerc to win, but it is what it is. Just took the donuts out of the oven, and I'm actually done with all of these little name tags. We've got France toast, so instead of France toast, it would be obviously toast. We're gonna have some avocado toast, Logan Sargento cheese, Oscar pastry, Charles Leclerc, Nick Debris, like brie cheese, because we're gonna have some like cheese and meats, and then obviously land donuts and things like that. So very excited about that. And then I'm gonna decorate the rest of the place with some more Formula One stuff. But anyway, to wrap up the whole race questions and all that kind of stuff, the only last thing to know is once they open that gate for you to go to the podium, run and run really fast, because other people will definitely outrun you, speaking from experience. And it feels like it's a shorter distance, but it actually, once you're running it, you're like, oh my god, this is actually taking forever. But anyway, just run, and then you'll get there and you'll be in front of the podium. Obviously the podium is fenced, so you're not going to be directly in front of it. It's a fence because you're on track, and then there's, you know, like the people from the team that win. So in this case it was Red Bull, you know, it was like Christian Horner, Jerry, all that kind of stuff. They were just standing there, and you know, up there are the drivers on the podium, so you can just stand there and, you know, listen to them. And then at the end they had a concert with Maluma, so we just stuck around to basically enjoy the podium and then the Maluma concert, which was really just like 2 or 3 songs. And after that we started heading out, and that's where we, you know, took the shuttles back to the station, and that's where we were waiting. I'm not even kidding you, for an hour and a half for an Uber to get us. So that's when I wish we had either, you know, parked somewhere nearby or knew somebody ahead of time that was going to be able to pick us up. So that's my biggest recommendation if you're gonna do that for parking, is find somebody, or, you know, like try to set up your Uber or something earlier on to make sure that they do pick you up, because we had a couple of Ubers that ended up canceling because, you know, like there was so much traffic and everything that they're just end up not taking those routes. So that's my recommendation to you. Anyway, again, other than that, just wear some light clothes, some comfortable shoes, and have fun. Oh, and a lot of sunscreen for sure. Well, tomorrow, once we do the actual watch party, I'll just record a couple clips of what everything looks like with the decorations, the food with the names and everything like that, in case you want to host your own Formula One One watch party. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert those clips now. Anywho, thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped answer some questions. If there's anything that I didn't cover or any additional questions you have, feel free to leave that in the comment section. If you're going to the Miami Grand Prix, have a fun time. It is honestly a great experience. Seeing those cars in real life is just an indescribable feeling. So really, you know, enjoy the moment, soak it all in, and have fun. And if you aren't, then enjoy it on TV and maybe do your own Formula One watch party, because it also is a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.